What's up, everybody? Good late afternoon. One last running back video for this year's free agency primer, and then we're on to other stuff tomorrow. So let's just go ahead and get through it. These are the low end depth guys, if there is such a thing. The video a little bit earlier, those were the more, how should I put this, more qualified, more capable, and likely more expensive depth guys. These are guys that are truly meant to not play very much unless there's some kind of an emergency. These are guys that, in an ideal scenario, would not play a single snap on your offense for the season. They would be special teamers only. So let's let's take a look at some of these guys because they still have a place in the league, right? We still have to at least consider things. So Jeff Wilson, that would be one of the first guys that I take a look at here. I think I remember this guy used to be one of the fastest players in the NFL. Probably isn't now that he's going to turn 30 in November, but he's still quite fast. Was a Niner for a while. Excuse me. And then he followed Mike McDaniel over to Miami. And he has had good years in the past. He even had a 1,000-yard season in 2022. But the last 2 years, he has been a complete afterthought. Has basically not been a real player of football. He's basically been relegated into a complete reserve role at this point. He in 2023, the little bit that he did play, he was graded poorly, 59.4. And the previous year where he got a decent number of snaps, which was 2022, that was the year he had 1,000 yards. He was graded okay, 66.9, still near the bottom of the league. So nothing that really motivates excitement in anybody. Botrax says 1 year, 1.3 million. I mean, sure. Again, for what you're getting, that's probably an appropriate cost. Dearnest Johnson. This is a guy. If there's anybody in this video that I would single out as being something that I think might be pretty decent, I think I'd start with Dearnest Johnson. Gonna turn 29 in a few days here. Spent some time with the Browns. He was part of the group of running backs they had in 2021, and he was quite good in 2021. 5.3 yards a carry, a little more than 500 yards, close to 700 yards from scrimmage. There was some stuff going on there, and I don't know what's really happened since then, but he started one game. He hasn't played very much. He's got less than, I think if you combine it all, it's right around 100 touches combined over the last 3 years. Yeah, it's, I think, 102. Yeah, it's 102 touches over the last 3 years. Not particularly productive. Hasn't gotten in the end zone once. So obviously, we have to understand that this guy's far removed from notable seasons, but we do have something of a track record of him being an effective player in this league. For the little bit that he has played over the last couple of years, PFF has been mostly down on him. 60.7 last year, 57.5 the year before, a big whatever. But I like Dearnest Johnson. I think that he's got a little bit more going on than a lot of these guys. You get him for 1 year, 1.3 million. I think you're doing pretty well for yourself, and you're going to be pretty satisfied with what you get out of it. I would expect more out of this guy than Jeff Wilson or some of the other guys in this video if you got them. Now, of course, as a Seahawks fan, I don't really want any of these guys because we don't need a third running back or even a fourth running back, really. But if I did, this would be kind of the guy that I look at. Trey Sermon, one of the recent failed running back draft picks for the 49ers, third round pick a few years ago, didn't pan out. Just turned 26 about a month ago. Has not really taken off as a player yet. Hasn't really gotten a really good opportunity. Last year was a career high in touches with 72. Was not very efficient, was not very effective. So he's just kind of out there bobbing around as a middling roster filler player. And there's talent here, right? This is a player who was notable in college. He was a top 100 pick, and it's just not working out in the NFL. Maybe the right opportunity could bring it out, but at the same time, it's like he got coached by Shanahan in the Shanahan offense that first year, 2021. And then the next year, he was behind the incredible Eagles offensive line. The running game they had in 2022 with Jalen Hurts at quarterback was really good, and he could even get on the field. Now, I don't know if that's an indictment on him as a player because the Eagles had other really good running backs at that point in time, but to get 2 carries over the course of a full season, that's hard to really justify. And nothing we've seen over the last 2 years is really changing people's perception. PFF was very down on him last year for the Colts, 54.1 grade. Not really much better the previous year either, 56.6. So they're not buying what they're seeing, the player is trying to sell here. Never really been appreciated by PFF. So he's not really a threat in the passing game at all. He's a very one-dimensional running back, and that one dimension doesn't even seem that good. 1 year, 1.25 million, basically, like that. Again, a lot of these guys are pretty interchangeable, but Sermon, you're definitely getting to the point now where you just have to assume that whatever potential this guy had, it doesn't factor in anymore. Chase Edmonds going to turn 29 in about a month and a half here. We remember this guy a little bit from his time with the Arizona Cardinals, spent some time with the Dolphins, the Broncos, the Buccaneers, bouncing around. Had some good seasons. Ugh. I'm sorry, guys. I cannot stop yawning today. It's actually midday. I'm recording this video right before I upload it, basically, and I just cannot stop yawning today. I don't know what is wrong with me. I've already gotten up. I've gone to the gym. I've walked the dogs. I don't know what the heck's going on. But anyway, this guy's been a fairly prolific player in the past. He's done notable things in this league. He's a good third down back, but last couple of years, he's taken a reserve role, not even getting close to 500 yards. And 2024, he missed the whole year, right? He did not play a snap. He did not touch the field in 2024. So maybe that'll be good for him. Maybe that's an indicator that he's just not really into the whole football thing anymore. I don't know. The last year he played, he was graded poorly, 58.2. And the year before that, 2022, he was really graded poorly, 50.8 total across 2 teams. So if you want to give him his next chance, I mean, there is a little bit of a track record of success here, but the recent years have been very thin. 1.2 million for 1 year. Can't go too wrong with it. Man, what is up with me? I'm sorry, guys. I'm just out of it right now. But 1 year, 1.2 million. I mean, given the fact that this guy has a track record of NFL success, I don't think that's a bad idea. You can't beat that price, but it's been a while since he's been a notable NFL player. Patrick Taylor, undrafted 49er, originally started as a Packer. Niners gave him the best chance he's had so far in the NFL, and he did okay. Not a lot, but got a handful of carries, did all right. Averaged about 4.7 yards a carry last year for the Niners. Not even a very good Niners team. It's not like you can say he was just riding the coattails of a really good team last year, because they weren't that good. So, he's a backup. He's a guy who's just meant to come in off the bench and play a tiny bit every now and then. PFF last year, 60.4. Year before that, 60.4. So, not much to say. Just one of those players who is worth being in the league, and that's about it. 1 year, 1.2 million. It's okay. I can't go too wrong with it. I guess he's about to turn 27 as well, and he doesn't have a lot of miles, but not much here. Jeremy McNichols. This guy's been around a little bit longer than I thought. I was surprised to look this up and see that he's been in the league since 2017. Just turned 29 a couple months ago. Never been a big part of any NFL offense, but over the last couple years, he has had a couple of moments where he's been like a third back, or maybe you'd even call him like a fourth back on some of these teams. The Titans for a couple of years, and last year, for a Washington offense that was elite, he was actually pretty productive. Gave you about 290 yards of offense, gave you 4 touchdowns. I mean, that's going to be worth something. But you have so many years of him just doing nothing, and then every now and then he gets an opportunity, and he does okay with it, but those opportunities never stick for very long. So, McNichols, I'd be kind of interested in it to a certain extent. PFF actually gives him a pretty good grade for last year, 72. So this one's not too bad. This one, there could be just a situation where the opportunity hasn't really been afforded to him yet. Spotrac, 1 year, 1.2 million. Sure. I mean, again, we're at the point where you can't go that wrong with anything. You're just trying to find the little edges. Like Cam Akers, this would be kind of, to me, the kind of guy that you want to avoid in this circumstance because of the injuries that he sustained. It seems unlikely he's going to have a particularly long NFL career. About to turn 26 in June, so he's still young. That's good. But after a pretty decent start to his career, he suffered a debilitating injury, came back, didn't quite look the same, looked a little bit better, looked a little bit worse. He's kind of been vacillating up and down. Hard to really say what he is at this point in his career. Hard to say what he'll be tomorrow. It was a big injury that he had, and I'm not super optimistic about his ability to bounce back from it for a consistent amount of time. Like, he had a 900-yard season for the Rams in 2022 after the injury, but then the next year he was a completely not usable player. He was one of the worst running backs in the league. And then last year he was better. He was better, right? He actually had a decent role for the well, first it was the Texans and then he went to the Vikings. So it's up, it's down. The PFF grade from last year was passable, but still not good, right? 30th among 47 running backs. And the year before that was okay, I guess, but actually a little bit worse. And what's the cost? For some reason, and I don't know if I buy this, Spotrac thinks he's getting a 3 year, $3.5 million deal. Not even actually, $3.4 million deal. I don't know why this guy would get a multi-year deal, given the fact that he's probably somebody that needs to be paid year to year because of the injury. Now, obviously, a 3 year, $3.4 million deal is nothing. That's vet min over a 3 year period, which is not really going to set anybody back, but it's just weird to me that they think he would take basically a vet min deal over a 3 year period. I don't know if I see that, but definitely see Cam Akers just having a very inconsistent career from here on out. Final guy I want to look at here real quick would be Travis Homer, the old Seattle Seahawk. I think most of us remember Travis Homer. He was a good player until the injury started to hit him. Couldn't stay healthy in 2022. But before 2022, I thought he was a good, viable, capable third down running back. He was somebody that we put out there on third and long, and I thought he did a pretty good job. He was a pretty good blocker. He was a good pass catcher, but he wasn't able to have the big contract year. So he's gone to the Bears and has been basically irrelevant in Chicago. He has 9 touches combined over his 2 years with the Bears. Now, he does play a little bit in other capacities, but as an offensive player, he's been a big nothing. So you're probably going to be able to get him for very cheap if you want him, and there is still a track record of him being a successful third down running back, somebody who helps you on special teams and who can be a capable running back. Last season, he played significant snaps as 2022. PFF thought he was okay, 63.2, passable, reasonable, decent, and it's going to be super cheap, not even 1.1 million for 1 year. I wouldn't mind this if you needed a third down back, which I don't think we do. I don't think this guy does anything that Charbonnet doesn't do. Charbonnet's a good blocker like Homer. Charbonnet's a good pass catcher like Homer. Charbonnet can do most of the things that Homer can do, but somebody out there is going to be getting a third down back for pretty cheap here, I think. All right, so that's it. I know not a super exciting bunch, but we got to get through it. We got to do our homework. New position tomorrow. Sorry for all the yawning. I am just, again, it's midday and I'm just out of it. So see you guys. Go Hawks. Should be on Twitch tonight.